Hello friends, and welcome to my art world. My name is Evgeny, and in my art I go by Zheka. I am an artist, and I'm also a teaching artist for the Pennsylvania Council for the Arts. And today we're doing an art experience, which is called the Seeds of Light. It's a simple yet very interesting project that has to do with a lot of interesting symbols for personal growth. Because I use this symbol a lot in my own artworks, and I like to mess around with all kinds of different seeds to show the starting point of the individual growth. So for this project, first of all, we are going to try to connect the idea to the artwork, right? This is going to have a pretty meaningful personal idea at the center of this project. So first of all, we're going to come up with an idea and think about it throughout the whole project, so it will help us move along. I'm going to show you a little bit of my own artworks. So here you see some artworks that tell a story of individual growth. This one here is called The Seeds of Light, actually, and it's a sculpture. This one has a narrative that starts with a little tiny seed and progresses and grows. And this one is actually an individual that kind of looks like an individual inside a seed, huh? So the project that we will be doing is one of those projects here. It is the Seed of Light. And the seed is right in the center here, right? And it has some nice texture to it, very tactile. And the materials that we would need for this are basic household materials that I try to kind of really not be too picky. But personally, I do like boards here, thin board, plywood, but you can use your cardboard variety of any kind. We would also need some canvas material, such as an old drop cloth or a canvas bag if you have one, because canvas makes a really nice texture. So we start out with a small board, mark it up. Use little canvas strings, right, to lay it out and glue your sculpture itself. Like, for instance, if you're using a flower, right here, we would just glue it together. Let's say layer it out, cut out little things out of the canvas. Right, we would glue it together, and then use a bigger piece of canvas here, cut out a hole first, and then glue that on, and we would have something like this that we end up with, right? Seeds, I use your basic apple seeds here. They're very nice for the contrast, very cool to play with. You know, this will be our seed. If you're interested in playing a little bit with sculptural elements, you know, you don't have to cut a hole, but you can just actually build this out of canvas to make it look raised, to make it look like there's more sculpted element to it. Okay. So, as you are progressing in this artwork, right, as you're building it on, start thinking about the seed of light itself. Start thinking about the idea that you are going to put into this seed of light. For instance, if you're interested in personal growth, you know, I would recommend thinking about maybe ways to think about something that you will work on. For instance, I will make a positive statement about myself, or I will recognize, I will acknowledge, I will be mindful, I will learn a new way to look at a problem. So those can all be seeds of light, as well as, you know, something that is more concrete. If you're, you know, trying to actually gain something, or for instance avoid something, okay, you can use those too. But positive I statements are a good way to start. If there's something that you're working on, it's a good place to start. So as you are thinking about your own seed of light, your individual seeds of growth, also try to pair it up with a color, right? I mean, we all have our own color combinations. So, because that would be the next step, going after the glued texture, then would be color. And in most of my artwork, I do a base color of black, and then I paint the light onto the darkness. So with this, I used the black base color and then did the ground color here. That was kind of a brown and red and yellow, and then highlights for all these parts. I'm using a little bit of red and pinks for this, and then the last, do the atmosphere and the background, right? So for this one, I just mixed up a little bit of a dark green and light green, you know, and a little bit of blue, just on a darker scale. So, and here we go. Here's almost turning out a little bit of aqua. A couple of coats of that, and you will have a nice coat of very subtle and interesting color. Okay, so the painting will be your last stage, and then comes the activity itself. So basically, this project is good to do alone as an individual. This project is good as a good family project, or a nice gift idea where you would actually use maybe some actual seeds for flowers, or you know, potatoes, whatever it is. Whatever you want to do. I actually planted some beans and tomatoes today, so mine could have came just like that in this thing right here, because this one is one of the bean seeds here. It's a nice and soft, and every time that you're maybe thinking about your seed of light, every time you're thinking about your idea of personal growth, it's just nice to meditate a little bit and touch it. It's kind of like a button there. And the last stage of the project is trying to have fun with it. And this one, all of those seeds of light have a little bit of instruction here to guide you along. So we come up with an idea or a thought or feeling to be the seed of light. Write it down. Focus on the seed as you think about this idea. Touch the seed button. Feel yourself grow and recognize this process of growth. Keep touching the seed button every time you want to experience growth. So basically, you know, what we don't recognize a lot of times is growth itself. We don't notice ourselves grow. So in this case, with this project, the idea is to sort of focus, acknowledge, and be aware of your personal growth. And so every time that you make a positive statement about yourself, or you recognize your own competency, or you recognize your own beauty or skill, whatever it is, right? You focus on that, you touch it, you recognize your own growth, and you appreciate your own growth. So Next step would be actually to plant the seed and let your beauty grow in the big world, right? Basically, you can share your competency, your skill, or your positive feeling, right? Which we all need right now, because you know it's actually nice to grow some positive feelings in our world right now. So share it and keep this artwork as a reminder of your personal growth. So for instance, maybe you decide to make several of them, right? Because there's several things that you want to think about, that you want to grow, that you want to focus on. So you make several of them and you plant some of those seeds, but you have the artwork to remind you of what you went through, right? So here it is. And don't forget to pass it on and share it. All right. Hello, art friends. I'm here at this beautiful park today on what it looks to be like the first day of spring this year. And I'm going to drop off my painting, my artwork here at this beautiful gazebo for somebody to come and pick up and hopefully use as their own inspiration, as their own beauty, as their own seed of light. Okay? Here it is, the last stage. Thank you.